Are we all situated here? All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being patient with us this morning. I'm going to open the meeting. This is our regular board meeting for December 15th of 2020. I want to lay out some ground rules on today's meeting. As everybody understands, this is a board meeting. It is conducted as a business meeting. We are here to conduct business today, and we'll do so. And we'll allow the public to add comments to all the business that we have. We need you to wear your mask. If you do not choose the mask, that is your own decision. However, if you're going to be providing public comment this morning, and you're going to come up and speak at our podium, you must wear a mask. If failure to do so, I will have you escorted out of our chambers. This is not for the benefit of you. This is for the benefit of everybody around. For the benefit of you, this is for the benefit of everybody around here. These are my ground rules. This is how I will run my meeting this morning. And then if there are any challenges to that, we will make adjustments.
Item 3 is public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person.
Good morning. My name is Chris Rodehofer. I'm here today to demand that we have a public hearing on the Commission's response of COVID-19. We are tired of being dictated to and being told what we can or cannot do.
And I'm a Washoe County resident, born and raised, fourth generation Nevadan, business owner who is barely treading water. And I'm looking for a public hearing. The inaction is ridiculous. The muzzles are ridiculous.
Request that we have a public hearing regarding the Commission's response to COVID-19.
Hello, my name is Margaret Butler. I'm a concerned citizen of Washoe County, and I'm here to strongly urge that we have a public hearing for the Commission's response to COVID-19.
I appreciate it. My name is Cindy Martinez. I'm a resident of Sparks. And I want to share my perspective as a retired law enforcement officer and a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I retired from the Gaming Control Board Enforcement Division this year on March 14th. My oath to the Constitution was and is sacred to me. My greatest fear as a Nevada peace officer was not being killed in the line of duty. It was of being ordered by my governing authority to act against the civil rights of my fellow citizens. I have been horrified and sickened at the weaponization of the bureaucratic administrative state and law enforcement against otherwise law-abiding citizens. OSHA has become Governor Sisolak's brown shirts. This past Sunday, Nevada Patriots demonstrated at the OSHA Director's House in Sparks. Sparks Police Department rolled 2 SWAT units, 2 K-9 units, and other backup units against little old ladies exercising their First Amendment rights against the tyranny we're experiencing in Washoe County. This is wrong and must stop. You, as our county commission, have a duty to protect the constitutional rights of the law-abiding citizens of Washoe County. Our businesses are being decimated by Governor Sisolak's illegal actions. I respectfully request the commission conduct hearings on the COVID response and how you can protect the citizens of Washoe County. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Irene Rubio, and I'm an employee at European Fitness Center. I'm here today hoping to get a public hearing from you to see some change, have some consistency, not only for our business, but for everyone here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
My name is Simon Abitian. I'm the owner of European Fitness Center, and I'm here on behalf also of Dee Dee Desiderio. She's the owner of Sports West. Health clubs nationwide have been devastated, and approximately 20% of the health clubs are just going to shut down and not reopen. We would like to request the hearing, not just for our health club, but for this community. Thousands of members have not been able to work out in the last 9 months. And working out, as you all know, helps your overall health, builds up your stamina, your endurance, helps you relieve stress, builds up your immune system. In requesting a hearing, I don't think that's an unreasonable request.
My name is Gina Gilbert Green, and I am a business owner and a mother of 3 kids in the Washoe County School District. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the local businesses operating at 25% capacity, the shutdowns that have hurt businesses. I hope that we get a hearing. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Yelly, and I'm a resident of Washoe County. Hi, my name is Kelsey Schroeder, and I am a resident of Washoe County, and I am here to ask for a public hearing.
Hello, my name is Cami Craig, a single mother of two, community member and a small business owner of Cami Craig Fitness for the past 9 years. This year, the shutdown has cost me $172,000. So far, with no help with the government.
Thank you. My name is Jason Yelly, and I'm a resident of Washoe County. I am a local tennis pro and high school coach at Bishop Minogue. I support a public hearing to get these kids back out on the courts where they belong. Thank you.
My name is Brandon Borden. I'm a 20-year Washoe County resident and a 12-year business owner here in the Reno-Sparks area, and was a loss of over $500,000 in revenue. Gyms were only responsible for 0.002% of the infection. The study concluded that 0.002% is statistically irrelevant. One positive case for every 42,371 visits. The residents of Washoe County are demanding a public hearing because we have the right to be heard.
My name is Amber Borden. I'm a mother currently homeschooling my 2 children and a local business owner. I've lived in Nevada for 33 years, 18 of them being in Washoe County. I'm here to demand that we have a public hearing regarding the Commission's response to COVID-19. For the first time, you guys, in 12 years that I've been a business owner, I could not make donations to the school sports teams. I couldn't donate because the last 9 months have destroyed our business because of the unfair restrictions. I fear for the health of our community, not because of COVID, but because of the economic devastation, lack of social interaction, lack of physical activity, and major health decline due to depression and anxiety. This is a death sentence. The compound effects have already taken place. The small businesses that support the schools and youth sports can no longer help because we have to feed our families first. The kids can't play sports, their mental health is declining, their grades and self-esteem are suffering, all while regulations are getting tighter and tighter like a noose. Let the business owners get back to work so we can get back to giving back to our community. It's time to discuss the facts and have a public hearing before the end of the year on how we can move forward.
We ask you, please, have a public hearing and let people express what's going on so that we can make reasonable and logical decisions going forward.
You have a constitutional duty because you work for we the people. If we don't stand up now, when does this end? There's no time frame, there's no directive, there's nothing. It just keeps getting extended and extended. We're demanding a public hearing and we want to be heard because we want some answers.
My name is Christina Mooney and I work in the field as an EMT in Reno. I am a concerned resident of Washoe County, and I also urge and ask that we hold a public hearing regarding the Commission's response to coronavirus. We need to hear from professionals who are dealing in response to this virus firsthand. Working in the field as a new EMT, I don't know what to believe, but I can tell you what I've seen. I don't speak for all medical professionals, and I urge those who are responding or providing treatment in the area to give their own personal testimony. It is both my personal and professional opinion. The emergency response to COVID-19 does not match what I've seen in the field over the past year. These mandates have impeded our rights and liberties of every Nevada.
My name is Kristen Smith. I'm a resident of Washoe County. So while I believe the whole, Washoe County should be open economically, I am here speaking as a concerned parent for my children. I have 2 teenagers, one at Damani, one at Minogue. And both are suffering. And so I'm surrounded by youth all the time, and I'm hearing the stories, and I'm hearing the depression, and I'm hearing about suicide, and I'm hearing about friends of mine, 4 friends that have had kids attempt suicide. I don't know about you, but I never even knew about suicide growing up. And so it is unfathomable to me that my son, we're talking about kids who've never done drugs, they're athletes, they've never done drugs, they're not partying. Kids are partying, there's no schedules. I heard about it, a friend of mine, her daughter goes to Galena. 3 teachers have resigned in the middle of this semester. They have substitute teachers, they aren't learning the material. The substitute teachers don't know anything that's going on. They have final exams based on material they've never been taught. So when we're all shocked about D's and F's that are coming down the pike, there is a reason. These kids are not learning. We have an entire generation that is suffering at the hands because of the response. because of the response and not because of the disease. Back when, at the start of all this and sports season was canceled, I listened to this one child at a public school. I went to the school board commission meeting, and this kid goes, I've worked my whole life to get out of Reno because I want to go play football. And I'm not a D1 player, I'm a D2 player. If I don't have film, I'm not making it. 45 other states were playing. It's awful, absolutely atrocious what is happening to these kids and the depression rates. And I commend Commissioner, I think he's a commissioner, board member, Cuddle. He's the only one at the school board meeting that said, what about the depression? What about these students and what they're feeling and what they're going through? No one else. I sat through the board meeting last week and it was horrific. One board member goes, well, I don't have any facts, but I feel. And the next one goes, well, I feel. And the next one goes, well, I feel. And then they go, oh, gosh, this vote's going to be so hard. Oh, gosh, I don't want to take this vote. If you don't want to vote and you don't want to work for us, then don't. Resign. But we need people who are going to take leadership stands, and I am passionate that our children need to be back into school. So I am requesting as well a public hearing on the COVID response that's hurting our children more than COVID ever will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol Black via Zoom, followed by...
Good morning. I rise today as a voice for the hundreds of small businesses, as you've now seen, decimated by our statewide response and this county commission's adherence to our governor's unscientific, foolish, unconstitutional restrictions and lockdowns due to COVID-19 that are negatively impacting every Nevadan. Our children are suffering from mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and psychological problems and depression to such a degree that they're taking their own lives. The only thing unprecedented about the death rate in Nevada is the excess deaths that are a result of the repercussions to the response to COVID-19 and not from COVID-19 itself. That's a fact. Look it up. While Nevadans and communities in every part of the state suffered tremendously, our county commissioners hid behind the directives of Nevada's governor and did not stand up for their constituents who were losing their jobs at record pace. Mr. Lucy, Mr. Hartung, you haven't returned my calls or messages. Why? But let me tell you who I have talked to. Hundreds of Nevada business owners, dozens of heartbroken mothers and fathers who have not only lost everything, are unemployed and broke, and now watching their children deteriorate before their very eyes, again, such to the degree that they're taking their own lives. Can you see me, Commissioner Hartung? Can you see me, Commissioner? This is ridiculous. Our incompetent governor blames everyone but himself for what he himself has implemented. Why did our governor sell out by joining the Western State PAC? Is this political? 9 months of a permanent emergency and only 2 special sessions, met and adjourned without any public comment, hearings, or testimony from expert witnesses. Response to COVID-19, which violates the separation of powers clause in the Nevada Constitution. The finger pointing must stop, the games must stop, and we need a clear path forward that allows this county to open back up 100% immediately. The cure, and in this case, the response, cannot be worse than the disease itself. Kevin Dick and the rest of this commission need to be hauled into a hearing or deposed under oath in an effort to flush out the truth. I've filed many lawsuits, and I'm going to be filing another one against the county. And I'm going to be getting your public records through public record requests through subpoenas, because I've had it. I want to know with the commission's emails, text messages, and conversations of what was done and talked about these past 9 months. It's time for a public hearing with Kevin Dick, where he is questioned on his education, qualifications, experience to include the data and scientific information he's relying on to destroy this local community and negatively impact the lives of our children for years to come. They say evil exists when good men and women do nothing. I just hope you all have the spine to no longer hide behind the nonsense of our governor, and you give us a public hearing, and I ask for that today. Thank you.
Next up is Tracy.
As you know, I'm a retired physician, and I've listened to the passionate comments that have been made, and I'm sure have captured everyone's attention. It's an extraordinarily difficult situation. And I actually, based on what I heard, I would support the request for a public hearing. What I also would say is that there is more and more data emerging around what really are risks, what have thought to be but may not be risks, what are the best interventions, et cetera. This is a very difficult time and many issues need to be balanced. So I would suggest that when you, and I hope you will, have some public hearings, that as current scientific data as is available, and there is lots beginning to emerge, be brought and presented so that people can kind of have that as a background basis for the discussions that go forward.
We would also like to have the public information that's available on suicides, suicide attempts, the domestic violence, anything associated with what we're seeing as a fallout from the COVID response from both the state and this county and the city here. Or we'd like to have the public hearing, and those are things that we would like to have before that hearing.
I am respectfully requesting that we do a public hearing so that everyone's concerns can be addressed. Thank you.
My name is Zeke Renner. I am a concerned resident of Washoe County. At this time last year, the unemployment rate in Washoe County was 2.7%. It is currently 6.3%. So many of my friends are unemployed. I'm tired of seeing them struggling.
Ms. Tibbetts.
We have Michelle Pearl Ribbets.
Ms. Ribbets, welcome.
Hi, I'm Michelle Perry Roberts. I'm a resident of Washoe County, and 25% these businesses are not functioning, and we've got to do something for our county.
My name is Jeff Backlet. I'm a fourth-generation Donner Party, so obviously I grew up in Nevada. Your next thing is integrity. It's another sign that you have out there, and that is standing up for what is right. That is standing up what is for truth and facing what is evil and saying, I will stand up for it.
Collier.
Thank you very much for your time.
Heather Collier, followed by Rick Collier.
Hey. I asked at the beginning, there are ground rules for business meeting. I will conduct it as so. Thank you. Next, call the next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Heather Collup. My husband and I, Rick, right here, own Reno Academy of Combat and Rat Guns and Ammo. Last Thursday, one of our students' best friend's husband committed suicide. Their teenagers found him in Sparks. Another man took his own life because he couldn't see his daughter. She was a little toddler because he was isolated. The mom was too scared to let him see her. He committed suicide. For the last thing, we just on December 4th, lost our mentor. He was like our second dad. You guys are taking businesses, lives, and futures away from people that work their butts off and put everything they have into this community. I'm asking every single one of you guys to do your jobs that we hired you for, to protect our community. I am begging you from every one of our customers, our students, and business owners. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not nervous. I'm passionate and I'm a fighter. Do you understand me? You guys work for us. I am so sickened. These people are not getting paid. You guys probably are. I'm not begging. I'm telling you guys, we're sick of it. Please do something about this. And I am demanding a meeting for COVID-19, period. Just like everyone else has spoken to.
Having people come up, having professionals and scientists and doctors and giving them a chance to speak so we can all hear what's really going on. Otherwise, we're just wasting time. So please consider that we need to talk about this and work on it as a community and not just wait for COVID to magically go away. We're in this for the long haul. We've got to be realistic and have fair practices. Thank you.
My name is Shauna Burkhart. I am a resident of Washoe County, and I should not be asking you to request a hearing publicly. You should have done that months ago. I used to be a business owner. It was called Create and Take Art Center in Sparks, located on Bering, in the Smith Shopping Center across from Reed High School. I remember back in March when they told me shut down, 14 days. Then it became weeks, and then months. And I could no longer sustain myself or my business, and it's gone. What is worse is losing tens of thousands of dollars in your dream. And I ate my heart like a spoiled piece of meat, but I did my part, just like your math says. Where did that leave me? Nothing. It's gone. I saved up for 30 years. 30 years I saved up. And just like that, you took it away. Do you even care? You stand there and look me in the eye and say, you did your part, but I lost it all because I did my part. And you continue for 9 months to do the same thing. And nothing has changed except my dream, my purpose in life. I had one. Now I live every day. Don't care if I live or die. You know why? Because you didn't give me a choice. I would like to request a hearing, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Overseeing the Joey Gilbert Law COVID response over the last 9 months, taking the lead to answer any and all calls from citizens and businesses looking for guidance and support. I'm asking today for a public hearing regarding the Commission's response to COVID-19. As a law firm, we have donated over 1,200 hours of pro bono legal services this year to businesses who have needed representation in lawsuits, who have been fined, and who have needed simple answers because there has been no clear leadership or guidance easily accessible. I have had to field hundreds of calls from established businesses filing for bankruptcy, business owners in tears having no choice but to close their doors, and businesses being reported and fined by shady competitors. What was heartbreaking was the mom who called about her child that killed herself after months of battling depression. The mom broke down crying on the phone, thanking us because we were the only ones that answered the phone. She just wanted to speak to somebody in person who cared. All she got was voicemails when calling elected officials. I bring this up to simply ask, why has private enterprise had to fill the void created by political inaction? The facts have been discussed. I have personally transcribed hours of conversations between medical experts and our attorneys, and they are fed up with their clear medical data being labeled as fake news. This is about facts, not about politics. I strongly urge that we have a public hearing to reevaluate current restrictions in Washoe County. Simply put, that the 1.2% mortality rate with COVID does not justify the loss of $1.2 billion in lost tax revenue in Nevada, added with the unmeasurable economic and psychological pain inflicted on its residents. As somebody who has had a direct pulse on the business climate in Washoe County, we need to open Nevada back up, or we will not be able to recover from the lasting economic impact as money continues to funnel out of Washoe County and into the coffers of large corporations. I strongly urge the Commission to consider this public hearing and forgo the ill-advised directives from the Nevada governor, as his economic restrictions do not match the threat of COVID. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Dale Stockton, followed by Clay Murray.
Hello, Board of Commissioners. My name is Dale.
My name is Danielle Wells. I'm a resident of Washoe County, and I'm here to demand that we have a public hearing before Christmas regarding the Commission's response to COVID-19. Watching our state crumble due to the response to this virus is heartbreaking. My husband runs a local business and had to let go of over a dozen employees. That affects not only finances, obviously, but emotional well-being. Businesses have been unfairly targeted. In my opinion, any business or job that is putting food on a table is absolutely essential. We are only beginning to see the psychological effects on our youth. Suicide, self-harm are on a sharp incline. Our children have been deprived of an education that already greatly suffers in the state of Nevada. They are deprived of sports, normal human interaction. Making children afraid to touch each other or breathe the air around them is absolutely not the answer. I've been reading for months on PubMed PubMed about successful prophylactic and during infection for COVID treatments like hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin and doxycycline. For some reason, these treatments are being ignored. We are actively letting people die needlessly. Nevada can't survive like this. Our state will financially crumble, and especially small businesses, on 25% capacity. I don't know about any of you sitting up there, but I know that I can't survive on 25% of my income. We will never recover, and we will continue to suffer. Speaking as the at-risk, immunocompromised person that everybody is trying to protect, I implore you to let people have a choice. Let people be accountable for their own health. I do not expect any person or any business to set themselves on fire to keep me warm. It's been 273 days since 2 weeks to slow the spread. Clearly, nothing we're doing is working. I came in the door and I was forced to have my temperature taken by pointing a thermal gun at my head. I don't think that that is healthy either, to teach our youth that walking into a business, they should have a gun-like object pointed at their head, or forcing them to wear an oxygen-depriving face mask. Thank you for your time.
Tracy Schroeder. I am an owner of a multi-op DJ business, and I am here on behalf of all wedding vendors and event vendors. The cure cannot be worse than the original problem, and it is. My business is destroyed, as well as all the rest of the wedding and event people. You can't destroy these people over here just to save these people over here. It's wrong.
My name is Ryan Pedersen. I'm a resident of Washoe County, and I'm here to strongly urge that we have a public hearing regarding the Commission's response to COVID. These mandates become tyrannical, and when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes our duty.
Everybody, my name is Marilyn Marin. I am a resident of Washoe County, and I am here to demand that we have a public hearing.
My name's Johanna Hollis. I'm a 3-time small business owner here in Reno Sparks. I gambled my past, my present, and my future on the American dream. Everything that we had, my husband and I. That American dream of business ownership that was wildly successful up until March of this year. We've been throttled back to 50% and 25% capacity in the fitness space without input from the community, without true science or fact, or any input from my clients or fellow owners that you've heard from a bunch of us today. And we're hurting and demanding that we have the ability to just be heard by you guys and to have our input as to what's right for our community. Business models are not designed to be productive or lucrative at these occupancies. I'm currently looking at a reduced revenue of over 60%, close to $400,000 year over year because of these ludicrous numbers that we're forced to follow or forced to face a fine over. My staff's been reduced from 19 to 11 full-time employees, contributing to the unemployment problem in the state. Locally, out of 65,000 check-ins in my 3 studios in a small boutique fitness space, since reopening in June, we have recorded 0 transmissions of COVID in our studios. 65,000 people have walked through those doors with 0 transmissions of COVID. The science doesn't show that the industry is a source of transmission. In fact, even Governor Cuomo, who's respected by some across the country, I'm not sure, he's totally out of line in his directive, but he even admitted the stats that less than a slight fraction of a percentage of transmissions could possibly be even linked to the fitness industry. Not a reason to keep people from building immune systems by staying active, healthy, and busy. The mental aspect of exercise greatly outweighs any risk. The virus isn't keeping people away from my business, fear is. We've just been gripped by fear from the top down. We're not making our own decisions. People are being pounded by negative rhetoric every single day, and our elected officials are making decisions without weight from local business owners. I'm just asking for a public hearing and community and business input to assist in making decisions that directly impact our lives, our future, our freedoms, and our finances. Each person, each business, each community is different, and a one-size-fits-all approach, I should say a one-size-fits-no-one approach, is clearly invalid and not working any longer. We appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Dr. Joseph R. Kramer. I am a businessman here in the Reno area, but I would like to address the committee from 2 different buckets. Fortunately, I have a business side and I have a medical side. And if you look at your situation, we got 3 options. 3. 1, a cure or a vaccine. Second one, if you really want a home shelter and have this virus go away, every single person should go home right now and never come out of their house. Because you can't tell me by me touching this, we're going to stop the spread of this. Thank you for your time. Please have the hearing, and I'm glad I'm not in your position.
My name is Melissa Brown, but suicide mentioned countless times today. I know a 15-year-old little girl that tried to commit suicide here in Washoe County. She was hospitalized for 8 days. Do what's right, be brave.
Hi, my name's Polly Jones, and I'm a small business owner here in Washoe County.
Commissioner, this is Steve
Anderson via Zoom. Is Mr. Anderson with us? I can't hear you.
Hi, how are you? My name's Jennifer Whalen. Your last Zoom call just proved my point. You have kids on school online, that's how well it works. That just proved it very well. It's garbage. I have 4 children, my oldest being 24, my youngest being 11. This was her first year in middle school, Sparks Middle School, where she's taught half the time if the teachers show up on time. Some teachers are good, the rest are lazy. She was a funny, happy, sweet girl. She was in soccer, she was in football, she was in baseball. I walked in the other day and watched my 11-year-old little girl crying with a little piece of plastic, and she was starting to cut herself. This is not a joke. My twin sister was married in March. In June, she walked into her room and her husband shot himself in the head. This is not a joke. I have a friend from high school that I grew up with. He was a Marine, fought for you guys. He sat in his bedroom or in his bathroom and shot himself in the head. This is not a joke. I watched you sitting there shoving food in your face while we're all out there. This is not a joke. My daughter is depressed. I have 4 children. I never thought I'd see a depressed child in my family. I never thought I'd have friends sitting up in a freaking container, sitting up their ashes. This is not a joke. We're not asking you to have a meeting. We're telling you. As far as I'm concerned, I'm your boss. And you are all doing a horrible job. You guys have no idea what's going on. You need to stand up for these people. Like I said, we're your bosses. And we want to fire you. I'm sick of having my friends die. I'm sick of seeing my kids depressed in garbage schools online as a joke. And your last Zoom just proved it. Wake up. Have the meeting. I'm not asking, I'm telling you.
Hard to breathe after that one. Hi, my name's Regina. I'm a resident of Washoe County. Our children are suffering. And if you guys are parents, you guys need to really look into your kids' eyes and ask them how they feel about this. I don't know if you guys have high school kids, but they're not learning. They're supposed to be preparing these kids to go off to college. And the emails I'm reading back from these teachers are, figure it out or YouTube the answers. That's not an education. Sorry, I'm really emotional after hearing the lockdowns. Besides the obvious, it's the simple rights to provide. If casinos, Target, Costco's, and Walmart can stay open, why can't our kids receive an education? It is their right to have an education. So I'm here and I'm asked to have a public hearing before Christmas regarding the Commission's response to COVID-19.
Welcome, Ms.
Hello, so I'm Savina Versalis. I am a student and violinist here in Washoe County. I'm here to speak on behalf of all of the youth and students here. We're suffering a lot this year. I'd like to begin with this thing you're calling education. It's not. We are spending at least 10 hours a day on the computer, on Zoom, hoping that the internet works. Most of the time it doesn't. All I remember from these past months is not what I have learned, but stress and trying to meet deadlines and my grades plummeting because maybe the internet crashed and I missed a test. My grades are now depending on whether or not the internet works, not my ability to memorize material. As I mentioned, I am also a violinist. I was very excited this year to get into the youth orchestra. That was on Zoom. We compiled a fall concert video. We each recorded something and sent it in, but it's not the same experience, and it is not the experience I have been striving for. Needless to say, as I'm sure you've heard, if you've been listening at all, there's been a lot of depression and suicide, especially in my age group. This is because you're showing young people, you're showing children that this is life. This is what we have to live for. If this is all we have to live for, what's the point of living? I honestly don't blame them. You may or may not care what I have to say, but this is your job. This is your duty to care and to listen to us, the people. And it is your duty to hold a public hearing. And while you reflect on that, I'd like to play the Star Spangled Banner.
Thank you, Ms. Vassell. Ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
I also would say that I don't disagree with the numbers of people who are here today talking about, I disagree with some of the stuff they said, but I don't disagree with the frustration. I understand the frustration. Despite what people think, maybe you're not seeing patients in the place you think that they should be, but trust me, this is a real disease and it's a serious disease. Do we need to do something about business? There is no question. We cannot go on like we're doing now. What we really need is a public panel of healthcare professionals on both sides of the fence on this issue, as well as government officials from the state and the county come in and tell us their frustration will not resolve the problem. This is a problem that's going to have to be addressed in some other way. So
This morning was an eye-opener. This is not something that we have just been sitting around and not participating in. A lot of individuals that came and spoke today felt that commissioners and government and the county manager and individuals here are just bureaucrats. We are the same citizen as you. We are just elected to choose to sit up here and try to do our best to make the decisions for you. And yes, suicides, domestic violence, those things are serious issues. And we are working with the state to address them. However, there are also individuals within our community that feel completely different. And our jobs as commissioners we are to be balanced and just for everyone. And I know people die. I know that's part of the life cycle. But this is not the way, the divisiveness does not help. The screaming does not help. The anger does not help. Washoe County School District oversees schools and youth sports. City of Reno oversees businesses within the City of Reno. City of Sparks oversees the businesses in Sparks. The Health District oversees the health and benefit of all the community.